Hi everyone, and welcome to my next video tutorial, which is going to be focused on utilizing various Django commands in order to improve performance and development. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, of course, I'm just going to now go ahead and create a simple Django project and also configure a Django app along with it. Now, you're more than welcome, as usual, to skip ahead according to chapters in this video, or for those of you that want to explicitly follow from the beginning, that's also perfectly fine. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, I just want to create a folder like usual, call it dev. Then I'll open up my CMD. All right, let me just resize this. Okay, and clear this up. And we can say cd desktop /dev, clear that up. Then you want to install the virtual env package. So you can say pip install virtual env, and this you need to install globally on your system. There we go. And now with this package installed, we can go ahead and set up our virtual environment in our dev folder. So we can go ahead and say virtual env, and then you want to assign a name that you want to refer to your virtual environment as. For example, you can call it env or venv, the choice is yours. And to do so, you need to use the virtual env command, and you can press enter. Okay, so let's just give it a moment. There we go, our virtual environment was created. Now we want to activate it. So before we do that, I just want to clean up this command prompt. So I'm going to type cls. If you're on Mac, you can just say clear. So now I can just go ahead and say venv. That's the name that I called my virtual environment. /scripts, /activate. And now we can see within parentheses that we are within our virtual environment, and venv was the name that we refer to it as. Great. Now what we can do is now install our packages within our virtual environment. So now we're going to install them in the virtual environment and not globally like we did before. So now we can say pip install Django. So this is going to take a while, okay, mainly because Django also has a lot of packages attached to it, which is also going to be installed in the process. So all that we need to do now is we just need to be patient while Django is installed, and then we can go ahead and set up our Django project itself and our app, and then continue from there. So it's going to take a moment, so let's just be patient for that. All right, so welcome back. As we can see now, Django is installed along with various other packages. So we can clear this up. All right, now the next thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead and create a Django project. So to do so, you can say Django-admin start project, and I'm going to call my project Elevate. Press enter. Then you want to cd into your Django projects directory. So mine is called Elevate, so I'm going to say cd elevate and clear. Okay, so you just want to leave your terminal as is. Don't close it or anything, leave it as is. Then we can go ahead and open up our dev folder in a text editor such as Visual Studio Code. Okay, and we can just go ahead and say file and open folder. Let's go to the desktop. There is our dev folder. We can then select that folder. Okay, if there's any notifications or pop-ups that do come up, you can just go ahead and close them. Okay, here we are. So we can see in our dev folder, we have two folders here. So we have our Django project, Elevate, and we also have our virtual environment folder here as well. Great, so we've got that set. And of course, just make sure that you have everything set. So you have your settings.py file, everything is as is. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to run our server. So make sure you're in the following directory. So I'm on the desktop in the dev folder in Elevate, which is right here in this folder here. And I want to run the manage.py file. So I can just say Python manage.py run server. And that's going to run my server and start up the local development server of Django. We can see that's running. Great. So you can go to localhost here. All right, I've already entered that in here, and I'm going to press enter, and there we go. We can now see that Django was installed successfully, and we are good to go. Perfect, so that is all set up as it should be. We can also see the first time that we run Python manage.py run server is we can see that it generates a default SQLite database for us. We can also see that we have 18 unapplied migrations, and this correlates to all of the default database files according to the default Django apps that have been installed, such as admin, alls, content types, and sessions. Now to migrate them, you just need to stop your server and say python manage.py migrate. So go ahead and do that. And that's going to migrate all of those default database files attached to those Django apps to your SQLite database. All right, so we've got that set. Now, in terms of those apps that I referred to, okay, if you head on to your settings.py file, you can see that we have some default apps here already set up and ready to go. Now, of course, what we also want to do is later on create a basic model. So, of course, we are going to need to then go ahead and create a Django app, which comes with a set of pre-composed files. So let's create our Django app next. So what you can do is head on over to your command prompt in the following directory, and you can say django-admin start app, and I'm going to call mine links. You can give it any name that you desire. There we go. And now we can see we have a Django app, and of course within that Django app we have a models.py file that we can utilize, and an admin.py file to register our model. Now the next thing that you can do is go to your settings.py file, and you just want to add in your app that you just created to the list here. So just double check the name of it. So mine is called links, that's my app name. And I'm just going to add it here. Just be sure to remember to add in a comma at the end. Then for clarity, I always like to just rerun the server to make sure everything's configured fine and that there are no issues. Okay, that's fine. And if I refresh here a few times, okay, we're getting some logs. All right, so we've got that set. So this is all the basics that you need to do to set up your Django project, set up your Django app, and just get everything up and running and set up and ready to go as it should be. All right. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to utilize the package Django extensions to learn of these bonus commands that we can utilize. All right, so let's get started. Now, before we go ahead and install this Django extensions package, which provides us with additional commands that we can utilize, which are basically extensions, I just want to show you the default commands that you can utilize for the time being. So what you can do is open up your terminal, you can stop it, and I just want you to run python manage.py, and then you want to add in a space and say --help. And this is going to show you all of the commands that you can currently utilize with Django. And we can see that they are categorized according to sessions, static files. And as we go up here to the top, these are the core Django commands, content types, auths here. So you can see whenever we create our admin super user, we need to utilize the create super user command here. And we invoke all of that by saying python manage.py, and then we can say python manage.py create super user, or python manage.py change password, or python manage.py check db shell, flush, inspect data, make migrations, migrate. So some of these here you'll see we've already utilized, such as migrate, and of course to go ahead and start our project, to start our app, and to go ahead, of course, and run our server as well. So that's something that we can also go ahead and utilize. Now, of course, there's a lot of commands here that you can go ahead and read about and just learn a little bit more into. However, there are some additional commands that we can utilize, but we'll only be able to use them when we utilize this Django extensions package and that we've installed it on our system. But I just wanted to go through some of the default options you have. So remember, all you need to do is say python manage.py --help to see a list of all of the current commands that you can execute for the time being. All right, so we can just clean that up. Now, the next thing that we want to do is install this Django extensions package. So we can go ahead and install that. I will be sure to attach a link to this page here for this package, so you can go ahead and read more in terms of the docs and go further there. So if you head on to this link, you can go to the home page and actually even read the documentation, so you can read a little bit more and go into further detail with that. All right, so we can see that we've installed the Django extensions package and we're good to go. The next thing you're going to have to do is, according to the list, we need to add in installed apps to our settings.py file. So you can just copy it as is. Go to your settings.py file, and I'm just going to add that right here at the bottom. So Django extensions, like so. So just make sure you've added that in. And just to make sure that there are no errors or conflicts, you can just run your server again, just to make sure that everything's fine. There we go, so we've got that set, and we can see that we've installed this package perfectly fine. That's all you need to do. You don't need to do anything else. All right, so the next thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead and run that same command that we did before. So you can say python manage.py --help. And now you should be able to see that we have more options available here. So if we were to look at Django now, okay, we can now see that we have below Django, we have Django extensions. So here we can see we have a lot of bonus commands that we can utilize, such as admin generator, clean PWC, clear our cache. Of course, we have create jobs to generate a password, generate a new secret key. We can, of course, go ahead and reset our database, run jobs, run scripts. And of course, we can, go ahead and show our URLs or show template tags, set fake emails. And as you can see, there are various things that we can utilize here. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and test out the list of commands that we have here under Django extensions. We're not going to do all, but I'm going to show a few which I think will be very helpful for you. Okay, so let's get started. So just read through those commands and just have a look at what you'd like to try out. So the first thing that I want us to do is I want us to learn how to generate a password. Now, let's say that you want to create your super user, but you haven't got time to think of a password that meets the basic validator in terms of Django. You can just go ahead and say Python manage.py, and you can just say generate underscore password. And this is going to generate a random password for you. And for example, you can use this for your users, you can use this for your super user, anything that you so desire. So let's generate another password. So each time that you run this command, it's going to generate a new password for you. So let's go ahead and do a simple example as a use case. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up my notepad. Okay, and let me just make this bigger for now, so we can see an example of where we can use this. And what I want to do is I want to rerun that command. So Python manage.py generate password. Then I want to copy that password. Okay, and now what I want to do is I want to say Python manage.py, and I want to say create super user. Okay, so the default user is going to be Arno. It's going to leave blank. Email blank, and then I can enter in a password. So I have a password here that I have already. I'm just going to right click once, press enter, right click again, and enter. And there we go, super user created successfully. So there's a simple use case and a quick example of how you can go ahead and quickly set up your password if you don't have the time to set one up. All right, so we've got that out of the way. Now, another thing that we can do is we can go ahead and generate another secret key. So let's say, for example, let me just close that. Let's say, for example, that what we want to do here is we want to ensure that we changed our secret key. So here by default, Django has a secret key already attached to it, but let's say we want to change it or we want a new one. You can generate a new secret key. So you can say Python manage.py, and you can say generate underscore secret underscore key. And there we go. You can see it's generated a new secret key which you can utilize in place of your old Django secret key. And you can just rerun this command as many times as you like, and Django will constantly go ahead and create a new secret key for you. All right. So that is how you can generate a new secret key. Another thing that you can do is you can go ahead and ensure that when you register, when you create your models, that you can go ahead and tell Django to automatically generate some code for you to essentially put in place for your admin.py file based on the models you created. Now, this might be confusing at first, but let me show you what I mean. It's actually very simple. So there was a reason that we went ahead and created our app here, and that is just to create a model. So we can go to models.py, and I'm just going to show you how you can create a simple model. So what we can do is just create a simple model, and I'm going to give it the name of class person. It's going to inherit models.model. Then I want to give a few attributes with it. So I'm going to say first underscore name, and it's going to be equals to models.char field. And I'm just going to set max length to 100. And I'm going to say last name. So I'm just adding in some default attributes and fields. Models.char field, max length equals 200. All right, so that is how you will go ahead and create a simple model in Django. And we just want to go then and say Python manage.py, and you just want to say make migrations. So you want to make that default model. So we've created that model person, and it's available in the following directory. So we can see it is right here. Next, we just want to push this model to our database. So I can say Python manage.py. Oh, excuse me, migrate. There we go. So that's been migrated. Now, let's say I don't want to, I have a lot of models. Let's say you've created a lot of models, okay? And you don't necessarily want to go ahead and set all of that up on your own within your admin.py file. You don't want to literally go ahead and import those models, admin.site and .register, and add in that model within parentheses. Sometimes you don't have the time and you just want to speed up the process. So what you can do is just keep in mind the name of the app that you the app where you created those models in. So my app is called Links, and that's where I created my Django model person. So what we can do is we can use one of the new Django extensions package commands. So what you can say is Python manage.py, and all you want to do, let me just make this wider here, is you want to say admin_generator. Then you want to add in a space, and then you want to refer to the app that you want to refer to. So here it's links, and you want to say admin_generator. And as you can see here, what's going on is Django is automatically setting everything up for us in terms of the code on its own. So we can see all of the code here already set. So it says from.models import person. It automatically goes ahead and registers the person model, and also adds in some styling here in terms of a list display according to the ID, first name and last name. And remember, the first and last name were the attributes that we created ourselves. So all you need to do now, it's really simple, is we can see we already have the default logic here for Django admin. You just need to copy everything here up to the import here, and you can just go ahead and paste that in as is. And that's literally all that you need to do. So Django automatically adds in all of the code, and you just need to paste it in. Now, the reason that it knows how to do this is because you said, okay, I want you to generate some code that will register a model via the admin_generator command, and I want you to base it on all of the models in the Links app, and that is where that model is situated. So that model here, excuse me, this model here is in the Links app, so that's why we need to add in that at the end. And that is how you can utilize the admin generator. Another thing I want to go through with you is how you can clear your cache. So here you can see under our app here, Links, we have a cache here. Now, let's say you're working on a huge project and you have a huge cache. Okay, this could significantly lower your application speed and performance. It's not really going to make so much of a difference, but I mean, if you have a huge application and you want to just ensure everything's streamlined, it may be useful to cut off all of the excess dead weight, you could say. So let's say we want to clear our cache here. It's very simple. You can go to your terminal and say Python manage.py, and you can just say clean_pyc. So this is going to clean PyCache. And there we go. Nothing's going to be returned, but now if you try to open PyCache, you can see it's now being cleaned. So that's also very helpful to clean all of your data. All right, guys, so that's it. A bit of an introduction into the Django extensions package. And this, of course, gives you the opportunity to utilize bonus Django commands in order to complete various activities. Now, there are a bunch of these commands you can utilize, as you saw. So if I were to say Python manage.py -- help, you can, of course, see that we've only literally just touched the basics here of it. You can, of course, say set fake passwords, run jobs, reset schema, utilize SQL commands here, validate templates, update permissions. So there's really a lot that you can do. So we've just literally been on the tip of the iceberg. But that's it, guys. That's all I wanted to go through for today. So the Django extensions package, very useful if you want to utilize some additional commands here just to help with your development journey and possibly improve performance, especially with the admin generator. It's very helpful and it will help to speed up the process of getting your application up and running. All right, guys, so that's it. And as always, thank you for the support and see you next time.